This is a viewer request from the former president of the WJ Handy Dad fan club. He was ousted after allegations that he was stealing cheeseburgers from the Texas Hamburglar. Those allegations were never proven, but everybody thought it would be best for him to shuffle away and become Mayor McCheese. So anyway, the magic happens with the relay. You need a 5-pin relay, basically one that switches. So when this relay is just sitting here, number 30 and 87A are connected, okay? And so what you want to do is put your accessory power to the middle, the 87A, and then you have your full-time power to 87 here. So what happens is when you push your button here, you're going to send ground to one of these side terminals, and they'll be hot to the other, and when it senses that, it flips the switch, so to speak, and now instead of being connected to the middle, this post here gets connected to here. So that's how you get your full-time power going out. That is going to go out to something like this. Now I know some of you are thinking, well, why not just cut this wire and run it directly instead of having this weak point here? Well, the problem is this is probably 5 volts that goes out, and this is 12 volts coming in. So you can't just directly connect it, or you will burn your system up real quick. So you have something like this in your vehicle, and then the wiring is not that complicated. Fishing the wires is going to be your fun part of the job. I've shown you how to do it on Chargers and Crown Vics, but basically this can be done on virtually any vehicle. Typically you're going to start by drilling a hole somewhere, if there's not one already, to mount your rear camera and fish it all the way up, because it's got to go all the way to the mirror and connect up here on the mirror. Your power most likely is going to be somewhere in the passenger or driver footwell area, perhaps in the center of the dash area. Again, not knowing what vehicle you have. For Crown Vics, I typically do it in the passenger footwell area because there's existing wires there. For the Charger, there's existing wires right in the center console area. So again, just find where those wires might be in your vehicle to make it as easy as possible for you. The general belief on fishing wires is obviously it's much harder to fish this than it is to fish this. So what you'd want to do is, start wherever this is going to end up and fish this back up to your mirror. So like I said, this tutorial is not going to be about installing the mirror and running the wires and stuff. I assume if you're even thinking about this job, you already have at least some idea of how to do that. I do have videos, obviously installing it on Crown Vics and Chargers at least. I may have installed it on another vehicle, I don't remember. But anyway, so if you need that sort of help, I do have those videos. But this is strictly a wiring, how to make it work, the WJ Handy Dad method, where basically when you turn your car on, this kicks on automatically, but you also have a switch that allows you to turn it on anytime you need to. For example, let's say you get pulled over by the police and they say, turn off your vehicle, but you want to record the stop. Well, you push that button, it'll keep recording, and they won't know that you're recording it, but you'll have that recording. Or, you're sitting in your vehicle and, you see something that you need to record, boom, press the button, it starts recording. You're going to have to use your imagination here and pretend that this green wire is some ground point somewhere in your vehicle, and also this blue is a ground point somewhere in your vehicle, and it is obviously connected to the ground on my pretend car battery here. You see, as I said, number 30, which is this blue wire, is connected to the hot on our little cigarette plug, and then the cigarette plug for the camera, or really honestly any device that you're wanting to use, plugged into there. Now when I put them in the car, I normally tape them because I don't know why, but it seems like as soon as you put all the trim pieces back on the car, these things will just pop out a little bit, and then here you're going, it's not working. You're pretending that this yellow wire here is our ignition key. So if I turn on the vehicle, that's what you're going to pretend I'm doing when I plug this in. I'm going to plug it in after the fuse there. I don't think this will pop, but I don't want to blow up my battery here while I'm trying to demonstrate something for you. So I'll expose this area here, and we're pretending now that I'm turning on the key, and with any luck this should light up, and it is. And it takes a few seconds for this one. This is a slower camera for some reason. I don't know why this one is so much slower to boot up than the others I have. So there you see it's recording, and if I were to connect this red wire, I could trigger the backup camera to come on, which is right here. So the key is off. As you see, it's disconnected there. You're sitting in your car, you need to record, and listen carefully. You'll hear the relay click on when I push this button. Now you see again there's power here, and after 5 minutes or so this camera is going to turn on. Again, I don't know why this one's so slow to boot. So now you record, you're done recording. Now you can just turn it off, and it turns off. Or if I had the key on, it would still stay on, obviously. You can switch back and forth, and it's so quick that the camera will stay on as long as you have, both of them on at the same time. So that's it. It's basically that simple. You see, for our purposes on the relay here, I have the hot going to 87, which is the yellow wire, as well as the white wire, which I can't remember if it's 85 or 86, but 85 and 86 are interchangeable, so it doesn't really matter. You can have the hot going to 85 and the ground to 86, or vice versa. But the key is having one of them through the switch. I like to switch the ground. You can switch the hot. Really, it's up to you. But I like just having the ground on the switch. That way, if anything ever fails, I feel like it's a safer method to do it. So ground switch goes into, like I said, 85 or 86. It's off right now. When I click it on, you hear the relay click, and then the camera will fire up. Turn it off, the camera will go off. I think that covers all the wires. This is the red one on here. It's confusing that they do this for this particular brand of relay. They use red as being accessory and yellow as being hot. I usually do red as hot, yellow as accessory. That's just my preference for it. But in the end, as long as you have it wired exactly as I show, and I will put up a diagram as well. But that's how you do a dash and backup camera, the WJ Handy Dad system. So now we have the backup camera on there. Don't know if I'm not totally on here. There we go. So you see when you're in reverse, you have hot to that little red wire, then the backup camera shows up on the mirror, and when you're off of there, then it shows both front and rear, which is how mine all work in my cars. And it seems like it's speeding up, so maybe it's just because it's, it was sitting in the box with no power for so long. So, hope that helps somebody. Have a good one.